Hi, I'm John Collins. I'm the Senior Vice President of Goodwill Industries of Santa Cruz, Monterey, and San Luis Obispo counties, and I provide leadership for our organization.
Great. So I'm talking to the right person, you're a leader. We're talking about leadership in the workforce development system. Question for you, what do you think, what are the qualities that are needed in a leader in the workforce development system?
Well, first of all, I think there's got to be vision and the ability to bring people together. I also think there's got to be the ability to collaborate and really work together in the future. I don't think anybody can stand alone anymore.
Have you seen leadership, the approach to leadership shift over the 10 years or so, 20 years that you've been in the system?
I go back to CETA days, so that's a scary process, isn't it? And yeah, I have. I've seen that. Although I'm still seeing a lot of siloing going on. And I always wonder kind of how we can work better together and get out of our silos. As somebody who heads a nonprofit organization, we're, I think, a little more nimble, a little more quick. And I don't think some of the bureaucracies that are in the workforce development system are. I also think that the vision, as I see it, is that we're really that bridge between an employer and the job seeker, or what we like to think of as the future employee. And I think that's a real important feature that we all need to look at. The other thing that I see as a future trend, and I may be getting ahead of myself here, but I'd like to be quick, is that we're really in the business of recruiting, screening, and placing people in employers who are looking for us to have the best use of their tax dollar and save them time and make them efficient and effective in what they're trying to do. So what I see is if we need to change our language and really think about what we do in those terms.
Do you have a sense, or where would you see a board member or a person in your leadership position or with board member needing to apply themselves most on an issue-by-issue basis? Which issues do you think a workforce board member or a chair of a board or a leader of a nonprofit organization should apply themselves to the most right now?
I think the most important thing right now is a strategic planning process that isn't happening. And I'm not talking about, your annual plans. I'm not talking about the plans you send to the state. I'm really talking about strategic planning, and that's the thing that I see as the missing component. Being able to focus on goals and on objectives and metrics that are really based in an objective, data-driven fashion. And that hasn't been done right now. I think that's what's one of the critical elements that I see. And things that can be distilled down into a simple dashboard like industry uses, I think that's what's really critically missing right now. We're so caught up in the bureaucracy and in the jargon that we're not doing what needs to really happen, which is to be a viable resource for our communities.
And what do you think as a workforce leader is needed to bring about that change, to get boards to think differently about their role? What kind of information do board members need? What kind of capacity building needs to happen for that to take place?
That's a really good question. I'm actually on 2 workforce investment boards, and I think there needs to be a level of commitment, but there also needs to be a level of engagement. So those 2 things are really what I see as critical right now. And I think when it comes to working with businesses, that they're really looking for it from the perspective of that strategic element and what they bring to the table. What I too often see is boards getting down into the details, and I think that's dangerous, and it doesn't serve us well, because then you get kind of a locking. So knowing what everybody's role is, knowing where we're going forward, and looking at it from a strategic planning perspective, good board development, having a reliance on staff to implement annual plans based on strategic plans, I think is critical.
Great.